Okay. All right. So I today I want to talk about prayer real quick. But not in like a religious way, like not in a right versus wrong way, like just what prayer actually is. Because like a lot of us have this like wounding around even like the word prayer, like based off of how we were taught, how we grew up. And I used to be right there too. Like I grew up going to church, and I also went to a private school that was religious based, multiple private schools that were religious based. And so everyone had this just, there was just rules. There were all these things that you needed to do. And, then you maybe had to go to the priest or the pastor. And it was just a lot. And so prayer to me, there was this resistance. Like even when I would ask for something, or for example, when I would talk to my grandmother, she would say, well, did you pray about it? And it used to annoy me. It used to grind my gears because I'm like, as a child, I'm like, what is this woman talking about? Like, pray. I feel like when I'm talking, I'm not hearing anything. I was literally trying to hear a response, like, or get something, right? I want a toy or candy or a job, whatever it is. I'm expecting for it to just plop in my lap. Like, that was my indication of like, well, this stuff doesn't really work, right? So, I had to really let go of a lot of beliefs that I had surrounding prayer, because as I began to really dive deep into, my work, my journey, um, I learned some truths, right? So really, like prayer really existed before religion. And really what happened is like humans complicated it. They added these rules, hierarchy, there's right and wrong, who can talk to God, who can't. But prayer doesn't really require a middleman. Like prayer is simply just communication. This is your direct line to the universe. So what we really need to do is separate the prayer from, religion, if that's your response from a mental or emotional standpoint. And like I said, growing up, like I thought prayer had to sound a certain way. I thought you were there, there was like a correct phrase, posture, maybe like, and it just felt that prayer was just this distant thing. Sometimes I even felt like I wasn't qualified to talk to God myself. But then I realized like I don't need anybody's permission. Like I know how to do this. We've been doing this our whole lives. Like even when we're not thinking about it, like source, the universe is praying to us in constant communication with us. So prayer is essential, and pretty much without it, like nothing would really happen. Nothing would really occur. Like prayer are wishes and desires that are, at whatever time that you're stating them. These wishes are like near and dear to you. Prayers connect you to like other portions of yourself in other places and spaces. Prayer is how you can steer like your fourfold being. Prayer, it helps you in gaining like this understanding of things that are kind of like unspeakable in your mind. Prayer can and does bring like about success. Like there are these attempts to connect with the universe, with you, because remember, you are a fractal of source, you are a fractal of God, therefore you are God, you are source. So they are like prayer is the passageway to your higher self. So and like keeping it simple, like prayer is you talking to the part of yourself that is connected to source. So this is just how you remember that you're not alone, and this is how you align your mind, your emotions, your body, and your spirit in the same direction. Okay, so prayer, also keep in mind, it's not one-sided. We want this direct answer, this I heard you, message received, right? Like, but like really your spirit, soul, like conceptually already understands and is really happy with the way that prayer is being reciprocated, even if like your mental convinces you to think otherwise. So you are never really talking just into the void. The universe is always responding, but it's through signs, it's through people, it's through dreams, it's through nudges, it's through synchronicities, and sometimes the answer is felt and not necessarily heard. All right. So if you think to like, okay, how, our mental wants to know, okay, so how do we pray? Like I said, like you can't really be taught how to pray. There isn't a right or wrong way. Like you already know, you're just remembering. So the key here though is to speak out loud. Speak out loud. So sound, vibration, that equals the activation. Like you don't need to sound all holy. Just talk like how you talk normally. Talk like how you would talk to a friend. Like source doesn't care who you are. They don't care about your religion. They don't care what you've done. They don't care what you haven't done. Like even if you're just, cursing them out, yelling, if you're unhappy about something, like as long as you speak, that is their desire. All right. So you can literally just begin with, hi, I know you're there. Okay. And don't just pray when things are bad. Like pray in the good times too. Like you don't have to pray, like and I know a lot of people resort to that, which is fine. They really are not concerned about that. But I'm saying like pray when you're grateful. Pray when you feel good. Pray when things are like steady, because that gratitude, all it does is amplify your frequency. And then the higher vibration that you have, it just equals more clear communication. Okay. So just be conscious of what you pray for. Like words are spells. So once they leave your lips, just know it will come back to you. And it may not be how you expect, but it will come back to you. So just pray from alignment, not necessarily just desperation. Like keep taking care of yourself, your vibration, and know that when you aren't taking care of yourself, when your vibration is low, you you might be still praying, but you're not just seeking like answers from your higher self at that point. You're just seeking relief. And so, you might just be seeking any answer, which we know that there are lower portions of the universe and they can hijack things. So that's why I say like continue to work on yourself, raise your vibration, because then it just amplifies the frequency of good stuff returning back to you. So, to sum up, like prayer is really an important integral part of our human existence. Like it cannot be avoided. And if you try, like pretty much you're just not going to flourish, the way that you should. Like your soul's not going to flourish. But before we go back to source, before we return to the oneness, each of us will be in some form of like deep communication with the universe. So yes, just keep that in mind. But that's it. There's no big performance that needs to happen with prayer. There's no perfection you need to come with. Like it's just you speaking to the universe that already knows you. All right. So I love you, and I'll speak to you in the next one.